Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is George Juman, and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about Chainsaw Man Chapter 211. So, what do I think about this week's chapter? I'm just gonna come out and say it. I thought this week's chapter was fantastic for many, many reasons. One of them was the humor. The humor was on point. It was very hilarious, as well as we get to see a character that we have not seen in a very long time reappear in this chapter. And finally, we get to see pretty much Denji, how he's digesting the whole notion of Yoru pretty much wanting to take over the world. Because as of this chapter, we get to pretty much see that the Death Devil fills in Denji on what's going on. And we see Denji's reaction, as well as Denji's reaction and why he should join the Death Devil in her cause. And we see how that plays out, which was hilarious. Now, before I go any further with this week's chapter, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my Chainsaw Man, as well as all my anime and manga content that I'll be providing in this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really, really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you guys could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, with all that out of the way, let's talk about this week's chapter. So this week's chapter starts out right where we left off last time, which was pretty much the Death Devil, or should I say Little D, talking to Denji in this building. And we see that we get the confirmation that apparently the Death Devil and the Famine Devil, they both joined forces to recover Denji's body, because I guess he was unconscious, he was knocked out, obviously after the Falling Devil and how he got taken down. So we see that they both rescued Denji and brought him up to this point. And the introduction of, the Death Devil talking to Denji was hilarious. She's just like, yeah, the little D, because I'm the Death Devil. And then she's like, are you serious? What's going on? And you see him kind of cringing, which is great. And the important thing is that this chapter gave us pretty much the Death Devil filling in Denji on everything that's been going on. We see that pretty much the Death Devil says to Denji, like, hey, I know Yoru's plan is to pretty much turn you into a weapon, so then she can use said weapon to eliminate me. Henceforth, death will be, non-existent. And this is where Denji's like, okay, so that doesn't sound so bad. Like, what's so wrong about that? And this is something that I myself had been speculating for a long time. Why the reason that would be terrible for the Death Devil to be erased from existence. And pretty much the Death Devil, Little D, confirms my own thoughts about why it would be such a terrible thing. And we see that pretty much the reason that Yoru wants to eliminate the Death Devil is so they could be an eternal warfare, so she can make it so World War II never stops. It will be a never-ending World War II. And pretty much the Death Devil pretty much fills in and says that because nobody would die, it would just be an eternal hell. It would just be absolutely non-stop war, hatred that would never cease to exist. It would just be terrible, which is something I've been saying for a long time now, that I myself had perceived the idea of what if Yoru was the final villain. And this chapter really showcased that I might be 100% right in that scenario. It is Fujimoto though, so always keep your eyes open, because you never know if he might, pull a fast one on you, and maybe, the Death Devil's actually doing a big 180 plot twist later on. But to this point in the story, I am siding more with the notion of maybe the Death Devil was actually trying to rescue the world, because we see that she pretty much explains to Denji as this eternal war would happen, that's Yoru's dream. And you see pretty much Denji's reaction just be completely 100% just shocked. My man is oh man, I think he's realizing at this point in the story that he might have been he might have gotten the wrong choice to side with Yoru, and he might have been baited to actually believe anything that she said, manipulated once again. And this is a big moment for Denji, because he just looks like, oh man, I screwed up. This is bad. This is really, really bad. And obviously, like I said, he finds out what Yoru's true dream is. And at that point is where we also get the clarification that, the Death Devil just pretty much tells Denji, hey, listen, I tried everything I could in my power to prevent the prophecy from happening, because the prophecy said that I was going to awaken my powers, and as such, it was going to cause a big destruction and whatnot. But perhaps me trying to prevent that from happening had some some terrible outcome. I try to change the future, but instead I might have created an even worse future for us, and that being that pretty much Yoru might take over and this internal war might go down, which, yeah, it sounds terrible, because it would be terrible. And as she's all explaining this to Denji, we see that Denji's okay, what should I exactly believe you? Like, you're not making that much sense. Why should I trust you? And why should I even join you to begin with? And this is where we get a thing that I was not expecting at all. If this was a bingo card, this would not be my bingo card at all, which is pretty much the reintroduction, as Denji's doubting like everything that Little D is telling him. We see that pretty much we get the reintroduction of Sugo, which, for you guys that forgot, that is the sword hybrid that we saw a long time ago during like the whole Chainsaw Man Church event, as well as where the hybrids fought Denji. Yeah, he got reintroduced to the story, and apparently he's siding with Little D, which is something that is not too suspicious, because we do know that Famine at that point was part of the Chainsaw Man Church, and why not? And Sugo was siding with them, so it's not too shocking. But the point that he gets reintroduced at this point, I was not expecting it. Like, I was like, oh wow, like I didn't think he was written out completely. I thought he was gonna show up maybe like during the final fight to join, but I was actually very surprised. And good job on Fujimoto reintroducing him, and hopefully we get to see more of him besides getting Speed Blitz as last time. But yeah, we see he pretty much tells Denji, like, listen, you should, like, hey, like, Denji, you gotta join us. And Denji's like, oh, I remember you, you're that one guy. Like, that's all. Like, he doesn't even say his name. And then the funniest part is the sword hybrid is not even like trying to humor this. He's like, all right, there's no time to play catch up right now. There's bigger concerns right now. We don't have time to get Denji to catch up. Just like hey, Little D, just show Denji your belly. Like, once he sees your stomach, he will realize, like, hey, she's telling the truth. She is the Death Devil, And this is where we proceed to see, in my opinion, the funniest section of the chapter, which I was like, yo, Fujimoto, listen, when my man is cooking, he's cooking, all right? And we see that he cooked us a whole 5-star meal with these panels that he gives us, to say the least, because we see that the Death Devil, Little D, she a little thick, to say the least, in the right places, if I might say so myself. And Fujimoto is not beating the cake allegations. That's all I'm saying. My man has a preference, and listen, I ain't complaining. As a guy that enjoys a nice thick thighs, when it comes to my preference, I like them a little thick thighs, little cake in the back too, He got the right angles with Fami, and she a little thick. She got the thickums, let's just say that. And I mean, little D got the thickums. And as we see that, pretty much she's showing the belly, and then she's like, oh yeah, and she's like, yeah, you see, I'm telling the truth. And then she's like, you know what? I will believe you. I will trust you after what you have shown me. I think you shown me a lot of evidence to prove that you're telling the truth. So I'll trust you. And this was hilarious, man. I don't know about y'all. I kept cracking up reading these pages. I was just like, of course, Denji. In this catastrophic point in time where the world might end, you can't stop but to laugh at the idea of Denji just looking at a panty shot, and just like, that's his biggest concern, just like analyzing, the stats of the Little D's physique, So that was hilarious. But yeah, the chapter ends in that, and now I'm in a very interesting note, is that I'm very excited to see how Sugo plays into the story later on. Will he build a friendship bond with Denji? We do know that Sugo was trying to be Denji's friend, because he had some he looked up to Denji somewhat. He thought Denji was cool, Chainsaw Man was cool. So I'm wondering if we're gonna reestablish that whole point of Sugo trying to be a friend of Denji. As well as hopefully we get to see in the next couple of chapters just how much chaos Yoru has ensued, because in this chapter we did find out that she's killing a lot of she's assassinating a lot of agents of the public safety, and she's just recruiting devils for her own cause. So a lot of interesting things to note, and I'm very excited to see what happens next time. But with all that being said, what did you guys think about this week's chapter? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys thought it was alright? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Chainsaw Man, as well as more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.